My name's Terry Gager and my son Riley Gager used kids services for the whole of his life. My experience of kids has been quite ranging actually. I was only young when Riley was born. I was 20 years old and Riley stayed in intensive care for a whole year. During that time the experience we had of his life was extremely medical based, and it felt like the world was against us. Every nurse, doctor or physiotherapist would tell us what he wouldn't do, be negative about his life and say he will never achieve this and so on. When I was told about the kids service, I was staunchly against meeting another person, someone who would tell me what my son couldn't do, what my son couldn't achieve. And to be honest, I was sick of hearing it, so I genuinely didn't want to meet with the kids person. My partner at the time pushed me to meet Ruth, the lady's name was. When I met Ruth, I probably wasn't very welcoming to her, and I had a bit of a barrier up. So that first meeting didn't go down very well, and Ruth said she'd come back. When Ruth came back, it was quite obvious how much of an effect she'd had on Riley, and looking back I'd obviously been quite selfish, probably immature. And Riley was so excited to see her and her bag of toys. And it's quite strange because you'd often look in shops and so on at what toys could be good for him. But obviously I wasn't an expert and Ruth was. And apparently Riley loved playing with a feather, which was something that I'd ever considered because it was light enough for him to hold and had sensory kind of qualities. Ruth continued to come and we'd actually started to build quite an excellent relationship with her. And it was quite obvious that the kids' attitude matched what our attitude was, which was what can Riley do and what can Riley achieve. And I think from that moment on there was a special relationship formed with the charity. From this point on, a fantastic world opened up to us. Sensory groups, fun days, play groups, and most of all we started to meet people who understood the kind of situation that we were in and our son was in. Quite often our families could give us as much care and help as they could, but we couldn't have those important conversations about where his life was going to go or the best place to get this service and so on. We were able to meet parents of disabled children and they were able to give us more of an understanding and empathy we were able to feel with them. Kids helped no end with Riley's application for lots of things, but mainly was his statement of education to go to school. It was an extremely proud time, and I can hand on heart say if it wasn't for Ruth's help and kids' help doing that, I don't know how we would have got through that process because it wasn't something I'd ever dealt with before. In short, what kids gave us as a family was the feeling of support. Someone we could go to for advice on anything we needed. Negativity never entered the equation. Kids focused on what Riley could do and then pushed it further. What we wanted for Riley was to be included in society, and we feel that kids were able to help him achieve as much inclusion as he possibly could. And Riley lived for 4 years, and during those 4 years he was able to have a massive effect on the world, and I don't know if we would have ever had the confidence to push him to do that if it wasn't for kids.